doing a special on Japan. Since World War II, Japan has been bustling with good news.
At the end of World War II, wartime destruction left cities crumbling throughout Japan. Most homes in Tokyo were destroyed, and agricultural production suffered. After the 2 nuclear bombs were dropped, Japan surrendered.
Japan started to rise to economic power shortly after the war ended. The Allied powers made a new constitution that made a more democratic government. Under the new constitution, basic rights were protected, such as the rights of workers. Americans also tried to break up the Zaibatsu, giant business organizations, but Japan resisted.
Shortly after 1952, the U.S. signed a peace treaty with Japan. They soon became trading partners. Between 1950 and 1975, Japan's GDP, or gross domestic product, increased. Gross domestic product is the total value of all goods and services produced by a nation in a particular year.
Japan had much success by exporting goods. They built modern factories and used the newest technology. They produced many electronic goods that had made them tough competitors with the West. Japan started to export more goods than it imported, increasing profit even more.
American corporations didn't have a fair chance to sell goods to Japan because Japan was exporting more than they were importing. This is an example of trade deficit that other nations face as well.
Japan relied on oil, but when oil prices spiked in the 1970s, a shockwave went through Japan's economy. Prices soon skyrocketed, and Japan started to innovate more oil-efficient products such as cars and buses.
Japan slowly regained trust of its neighboring countries. In the 1980s, Japan was a major investor in China and other Asian countries. In the 1990s, Japanese leaders expressed some regrets for the destruction and deaths from World War II. For decades and still today, Japan has given aid to foreign nations. In modern day, it gives the most foreign aid out of all the countries.
Although Japan enjoyed much economic success, in the 1990s it faced its worst economic depression since the United States in 1930. Although Japan enjoyed much economic success, in the 1990s it faced its worst economic depression since the United States in the 1930s. It was recovered in the late 1990s. However, employment rates were still low.
Today, the Democratic Party is still intact and has survived many crises. Recently, Japan underwent an earthquake that caused a tsunami to ravage the lands of northern Japan. It made billions of dollars in damage. Over the years, Japan has made quake-proof buildings. Even though it is really crowded, the buildings did not.
So, the education in Japan has increased quality. This is because they have been trying to rebuild themselves since the devastation of World War II.
Here's a clip of a Japanese student working hard at her studies.
Thank you for joining us as we commemorated Japan over the last 50 years.
Good night. Have a nice night. Drive safe.
This is Channel 11 News. Thank you and good night.